I'm Treasa Houlihan and I work as a Senior Library Assistant for Wicklow County Council Library Services.
Hello, I'm David Forde, Librarian in Greystones Library. We hope you enjoy this video celebrating our longest running book club. Enjoy.
No, we do know just as well.
Yes. You're reading about it before she climbs.
Sorry?
You're reading about it before you climbed.
Oh,
Yes.
exactly. Of
Yes.
course, exactly.
My name is Gillian Misstear, and I first came to Greystones Library in 2001, and I set up the first book club here in 2001, November 2001. We had our first meeting, and I'm absolutely amazed to find the same group still here when I come back again.
Fantastic. And what did managing the book club mean to you?
It was extremely enjoyable. Every member of the book club was very well read, very knowledgeable. So I was getting as much from them as they were from me, I think. Back in those days, it was a lot of logistical problems trying to get enough books together. So they all had to be fairly quick readers and share the books around between them. But I was learning from them what books they enjoyed and also what they had read, and then trying to find books that they hadn't all read was always the main difficulty, I think, the challenge, yes.
Okay, my name is Sunniva Sheridan. They call me Sunny. And I joined the book club when I think it seems from what Gillian said, when she started it. And that was 2001. And why? It was because my friend Joan Quinn, who was much more elderly, she was as old as I am now, and her husband had gone into a nursing home. And I said, let's get out and do something. It was really to give her more social life and things away from the loss of her husband. And we joined the book club together, and she was a terrific reader, and she was inspiring me to go back to reading more, because I think sometimes in the middle of your life, you can let reading go a bit because life becomes so busy. And so that's why I joined.
Well, when I was actually in America, in Massachusetts, where my son lives, so we did travel to go to see Orchard House, which is the home of Louisa May Alcott, who wrote Little Women, which was one of my favourite books of all time. And that was wonderful because the house is still as she left us, all the original furniture. And also, we visited Nathaniel Hawthorne's house in Salem, and where he wrote the Scarlet Letter and the House of the Seven Gables.
Yes.
And then the other place I would have been was Naples, because I loved the book and My Brilliant Friend. It was certainly one of my favourite books. And so that was it.
Laurie Lee.
and wrote a book called As I Walked Out Once Midsummer Day, I think, and it's about Spain. And he only had a guitar. He was a busker, and all he had was his guitar. That's how he earned his money. And he also had one phrase in Spanish, and he decided to go to school. But he was young, and he didn't realise there was a civil war on in Spain. And so he wrote this amazing book about the poverty, the suffering, against the backdrop of this fantastic countryside. It's amazing. So I think the most of the countries in Europe, but never to Spain. So I took off for Spain, and I travelled from the Basque Country all the way down through. I never went to Madrid, but I went through Bilbao and then Ubeda, Córdoba, Granada, and Marimar, all the way around for 2 weeks, and it was better than the book. Oh, wow. It was just amazing.
Book called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and it had a huge impact on me. And I don't know whether you could call it a spiritual book. Maybe not, because I don't think he doesn't believe in God as is conventionally as the supreme being in the sky directing things here. I think he believes in God as the energy that directs the universe, keeps the earth spinning on its axis around the sun, keeps all the seasons coming, spring with its allotted time, with its awakening and its freshness, and summer with all its beauty, the autumn with its fruitfulness and mellowness, and the deep rest of winter. And these have all parallels in our lives as well, you know.
But what I looked at recently, because I loved it, was Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Yeah, and she was actually from the Appalachian Mountains, and it's all set in the Appalachian Mountains, where, this is not my words, it's a description of a doping hell. The dog shit part of the US. People, poor politicians only interested in big money earners. And I've often been interested in the Appalachian Mountains. I know I'll never go there. Not a question of wishing to go there, but I would find it very interesting, certainly, yeah. And I thought it was a tribute. Absolutely, she described it so well. Yeah.
I was trying to go through this because when I joined the club, I wrote the names down. And I went through, and I think I got 500 names in that book. And it was very, very confusing. But one that struck out for me always was the LAS of the hedgehog. It was an extraordinary book. I read it. It was a French book, and it was translated to the English by a very good translator. It was really about the social system in France. And it tells you it was a concert, and she was a very humble lady. It was brilliant. She had a brilliant mind, completely said, very poorly, and completely what she hears. And it was the interaction between her and the extraordinary rich people who were in her height. And it was a very interesting piece, I must say. And I've always come back to it. I've read it twice already.
I love books when I discover an author and start reading a book, like the book, and then read their other books as they're published. And one of those authors would have been Joan O'Dea. I read his first book, Spinning Heart. I really enjoyed. I felt it was a very realistic portrayal of what life was like in rural towns. It was a town during the start of the depression about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it showed how people's lives were suddenly falling apart and they were all having to emigrate.
One book that stands out is The Great Gatsby.
Oh, the Great
Yeah,
Gatsby, yeah.
I like that very much, and I liked I just mentioned the namesake. John Steinbeck. I'd like to read more of his. I've read one or two of his. The Vice and Mel. I liked it for the novella.
Yeah.
And I liked some of a lot of Jennifer Johnston's. I like to look at her books also. I can read more of. Yeah, the others.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, book clubs are more than just about books. So, would you agree?
Absolutely. I completely agree. I suppose when we read a book, all of us read it, and our meeting is primarily about the book. But beyond that, there's a wonderful kindred spirit that develops, and over the years, friendships, deep, deep friendships evolve. And we still remember members of our group who have passed, like Joan Quinn and Joan O'Dea and lovely young Dervla who left us far too early. And we have remained friends. And it's extraordinary. It is simply because we met through the library book club. It's a beautiful group, and I value every single one of them and my time there.